God planted the Garden of Eden, and He planted it. He did it Himself. You just got to know that it was like exquisite. There was every tree possible in that garden. Every fruit tree, every flowering tree, every conifer, because God did a garden. He's not going to skimp. I mean, this is my garden. You notice that He only mentions 2 trees by name? Only 2, because those trees are significant. Really significant. The tree of life represents the walk in the Spirit. The tree of the knowledge of evil represents the walk according to the natural mind. And that's why He named those 2 trees, because these are the 2 paths the human race takes throughout life. The walk in the Spirit, the tree of life, or the walk according to the natural mind, the tree of knowledge. I'm telling you, it's huge. It is huge.
So do we know what trees those are? I mean,
Well, the tree of life...
do they no longer exist?
Well, no, the tree of life is going to be in heaven. It's just coming down from heaven. You see, in Acts chapter 3, it makes a very interesting statement in the middle of the verse. A very powerful statement. It says, God is going to restore everything as it was in the beginning.
Yeah.
You see, the Garden of Eden was not an experiment. Not I wonder if this is going to work or not. This came from a place of all wisdom, all knowledge. It was the very most perfect place for the human race to live. And if you look at the New Jerusalem coming down from heaven, it looks just like the Garden of Eden. The river going through it, the tree of life is there. What's interesting to me is the tree of the knowledge of evil is not in New Jerusalem. And I believe God didn't create it. He did not create that tree, and that's why it's not there in New Jerusalem, because He didn't create it. It wasn't His idea. That was a genetically modified organism created by Satan to take the Godhead from Adam and Eve to himself. Right. And that's why God says, don't touch it, it's not good for you.
Yeah.
Satan did a genetically modified organism because he can't create, all he can do is corrupt. And Solomon says there's nothing new under the sun. That was a genetically modified organism. And Satan put there to tempt Adam and Eve to sin, to take the Godhead from them, because God made them the God of this world. He took it from them. It was never God's intent. And because he couldn't take it from God, he took it from them. I'm telling you, it's huge.
You know, I read that in Genesis so many times.
See, nowhere it says God created it. And if you look at it honestly, it doesn't line up with His character. Because James says God cannot tempt anyone with evil, neither is He tempted with evil. That tree was designed to tempt man to sin. James says God wouldn't do that. The other reason God didn't create it doesn't line with His character. God is totally pure, and everything He's made is pure. He says to the church of Laodicea, I'd rather you were cold or hot because you're mixed. You're lukewarm, I'll spit you out. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil was mixture. Good and evil. That's not God. We gotta, we read this stuff and we just assume from the natural mind, well, God put it there. Satan can't create. God didn't put it there. It's a genetically modified organism. That was put there by the enemy. And I'm sure as they're out, Moses is writing this 2,000 years later, so he's just getting a download. And I'm sure my sense was God just on a walk one day. He says, you see that tree over there? That's not good for you. Don't eat that one. I didn't put that one here.
So Monsanto existed way back then.
Solomon says in Ecclesiastes, there is nothing new under the sun. Nothing. All these, Monsanto is not Monsanto. It's not diabolic. They're totally under the influence of Satan. This is not science. This is diabolic. Satan has always been jealous of God. That's why he became Satan. And since he can't create, all he can do is corrupt. He can't create, and so he's motivated to corrupt God's creation. You know what genetically modified organisms are? Genetically modified organisms are uncreating what God created. Yeah. It's a slap in God's face. I'm telling you, man, wake up. This is an affront to God. He created these perfect things, and Satan comes and uncreates them. Genetically modified organisms is killing us all, and we sit back and think this is okay. It's not okay. This is the work of hell. And I'm telling you, man, it's bad. Bad news.